Due to the topic of this video, I believe it is necessary to inform viewers that I live in a country and state that allows me to do what I do legally. With that being said, please abide by your local gun laws accordingly. I would not replicate anything you see in this video due to safety concerns.
Police pulled over a Camarillo man earlier this month and found a concealed gun in his car. Investigators
in a case challenging federal regulations on ghost guns.
Police found a cache of the untraceable guns along with a 3D printer inside the...
It was all an effort to curb so-called ghost guns. Those are homemade weapons used in crimes.
Over the last decade, various news outlets have vigorously critiqued 3D printed gun makers. They've portrayed them as being easy to make and have sparked political debate as whether it should be legal or not. I, for one, see no issue with 3D printed guns, and as to my knowledge, before 3D printers and reliable gun manufacturers, people have always had to produce their firearms by themselves. So, I have actually bought my own 3D printer. I learned CAD a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and see just how easy it is to go ahead and make these ghost guns. After receiving the 3D printer and assembling it, I had to calibrate it, which took about 15 minutes. Then you have to learn about print settings, filaments, layer heights, and a lot of more variables that could really affect the quality of your print. When I thought the printer was calibrated enough, I then proceeded to print out my first Benchy, a Godzilla model for myself, and a failed 3D dummy that I don't even want to talk about. I used the wrong filament for that one. Once I was satisfied with the print quality, I went ahead and looked into 3D printing guns. There's a lot that can't be said on YouTube, but if you look online, there are forums that will guide you in the right direction. So I thought I would just show y'all kind of what I got so far. I'm not going to be putting it together today or on this video or even shooting it on this video. I just kind of wanted to show y'all just kind of how fast and not really easy, because this is by any means easy at all. This whole thing probably took me about, I don't know, an hour to take off all the supports and kind of file it down. I'm not even done filing it at all. I still have probably about 2 hours worth of work to go, depending on if things go smooth or not. But I thought I would just compare it. I thought maybe I could just compare it to, you know, a regular Glock to what we got here. Pretty much identical in size, just missing the insides. But I think honestly, just by feeling it, just squeezing down, and I mean, it feels like this is gonna work. And I'm for sure gonna do a video on shooting it. I just don't want to, you know, get banned or anything for showing you how to put this shit together. But you know, cosmetics aside, it feels like a solid, sturdy fucking thing. I mean, this motherfucker's sturdy. I didn't think it was gonna feel this sturdy, but that bitch is sturdy, dog. So for my first 3D print, I guess it came out looking pretty okay. I'm sure there's a lot worse prints out there, especially where the supports kind of adhere to the frame. I feel like I could have done better with the supports, But aside from that, I'll be coming out with a video here shortly with me test firing the frame. But that's about all I have for you today. Before I go, I do just want to share with y'all one last little edit that I did. This whole experience has really reminded me just how important our Second Amendment is here in the United States. And this 3D printing stuff has really just blown my mind. All this talk of the 3D printing world, I think it's a little important to kind of talk about why 3D printing guns are important, why this is a big step in the firearm world, and what this means for other people, not only in the United States, but in other countries. In the past, Myanmar was primarily ruled by a military government, a regime that held tight control over the nation and its people. However, as time progressed, the political climate began to change. The citizens of Myanmar yearned for a more democratic style of governance.
We hope that this will be the beginning of a new era where there will be more emphasis on the role of the people in the everyday politics of our country.
In 2016, Aung San Suu Kyi became the state councilor of Myanmar. With limited power, she sought to implement a more democratic system. Yet, the military retained significant influence, overshadowing her efforts. The Rohingya Muslims of Myanmar have faced persecution since the 1970s. Unfortunately, their suffering escalated dramatically in 2017, just a year after Kyi took office. Following attacks on military outposts, the Tatmadaw, Myanmar's armed forces, blamed the Rohingya, leading to what is known now as the Rohingya genocide.
The protesters are demanding the release of the country's detained elected leader Aung San Suu Kyi.
In 2021, the military ousted Aung San Suu Kyi from power, imprisoning her on charges including election fraud. This sparked outrage and protests across the nation, as the people of Myanmar watched their hard-won democracy slip away. As the military grew increasingly suppressive, peaceful protesters comprising of all ages, including students, faced brutal responses. Many were beaten, some were killed, as protesters demanded Aung San Suu Kyi to be brought back into power. In response to the military becoming more violent and in a desperate bid for survival and resistance, some protesters decided it was up to them to bear arms. A new trend emerged. Individuals began using 3D printing technology to manufacture firearms in their fight against the Tatmadaw. Or as I should say, as their fight against tyranny.